My name is Donald, middle name King, Foulkes. I was born and raised in Peabody, Massachusetts, born on March 14th, 1922. My parents were, my father was Adams Merrill Foulkes. He was born and raised in Brownville, Maine. He had 7 brothers and 4 sisters. My father was a gentleman who really didn't like pets. I brought home a kitten one time from northern Maine when I was 10 years old. It lived till I was 17. My father hated the darn thing until he went down to clean the basement and found all these toothpicks on the floor and couldn't figure out what they were, and it turned out they were mouse tails. The cat became a friend of my father. I always wanted to be a flyer. When I was probably about 12 or 13, my father took me down to a local field, if you will. There had been a farm, and a barnstorming guy came by in a oh dear, what am I trying? I can't remember the name. An old biplane that had flown during World War I, and for $5 a piece we could fly. And I was intrigued. I spent a lot of time as a kid building models out of balsa wood and so forth, and some of them flew, most of them crashed, but you know, it was my love was the Air Force. So I did sign up for the Air Force, and they called me, and I was in the middle of a five-year course. I had finished my freshman year, sophomore year, and I was halfway through my middler year, if you will, and the call came, you have to report to Fort Devens. I flew 27 and a half missions. I was on my 28th, we got shot down. We had just bombed the Vienna marshalling yards, that's the freight yards, which are very important, were very important in World War II to the Germans. And as I understand it, it was the second most intense anti-aircraft area in the whole war. The first may have been Ploesti, I'm not too certain, or it could have been Berlin, but this one was pretty intense. As we flew in on the target, the anti-aircraft looked like a landing field. We were about 21,000. This was about 19 or 20,000. This is a poof, 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 poof. So we dropped our bombs. My ball turret gunner, as usual, said, "Right on, Lieutenant," and everything I dropped hit the target. The photography proved different, but I wasn't that good. Anyway, everything seemed under control. We said, let's get out of here. We banked. And then all of a sudden something different happened. We got hit with anti-aircraft. The number 3 engine, I'm the bombardier sitting here, 1, 2, 3 engine burst into flame. And, and I mean flame. And we're still at 20,000 feet, 21,000. And our pilot said, we're getting out of here. He said, we got a problem. He said, you in the nose, prepare to bail out. No, he said, everybody, prepare to bail out. In the meantime, I parachuted out and I landed about a mile from a B-17 that I could see. It looked whole, but it was on the ground. The countryside was fall. It was Friday, October 13th, 1944. Not a very good day. This crew and some Hungarians carrying long rifles arrived. A couple of them had pitchforks, and they greeted me. One of them said, "Bad day." I didn't know what he was talking about first, and then realized this was Hungary. I didn't know it then, but this was Hungary, and these people are very superstitious. Friday the 13th is a memorable day in their history, I guess. And I said, yeah. And the same man said, "You know my cousin in Chicago?" I said, "No, I don't know your cousin in Chicago." And he gave me the front page of, I guess, would be a dime novel entitled Chicago, spelled T something or other. I still have the original in my, I kept that all the way through prison camp. I don't know how. We put aboard trucks and trucked 50 miles to this place called Sagan, which is Z-A-G-A-N, which was Germany at the time. They had conquered it, if you will. It was really Poland. We were on a stake truck. There were probably 15 or 20 of us on there with guards. And as we got to where we were going to unload, here's this prison camp, you know. Barbed wire, 15, 20 feet tall, topped with razor wire, space in between, another layer of fence, guard towers, dogs, machine guns. That was the lowest point of my whole career, if you will, as a POW. I thought, here I am, I'm Lord knows how many thousand miles from home. I don't know anybody. I'm going to be in this camp, and I don't know for how long. And I was really low. Inside the second fence was a gate, well, it was two gates, where a group of POWs looking at us. And one of them yelled, "Hey, Foulkes!" When you're redheaded, you stand out. He was a classmate of mine as a freshman at Northeastern University. And that broke it. From that point on, there was no problem. I knew that, okay, I don't have a lot of friends, but it was a very interesting experience. And all of a sudden, one day, we got up, complete silence. Someone said, "The guards are gone." Guards are gone. And it was an eerie silence, and all of a sudden, this is, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time it was. A shell went overhead, and it makes a very eerie sound. And at the same time that went overhead, one of our guys was outside. He dove through the window, glass and all, because this thing had gone overhead and he didn't want to get hurt. As it turned out, he didn't even get a scratch on him coming through this window. Then someone yelled, "Here comes our troops!" And it was Patton and his group. Well, Patton wasn't there. But they came in, big half-track, broke down the gate, I guess, whatever it was. Could have been a tank, I don't know. And a whole feeling of relief that, hey, we're going home. So it's a very, very wonderful life. I mean, there are a lot of things to do. You stay active. I'm writing the minutes for the POW meeting I went to last Tuesday, which is a great group. And then they made me the poet laureate at the Rotary, which is kind of fun. I have a Bible study every Wednesday, and I write a poem for them, actually for Denny's, the waitress. And it's just kind of fun.
To meet where gypsies play down in that dim cafe, and